Yeah. What do you think is the reason people started to gravitate towards, craft beers and not just having whatever, a Bud Light or whatever?
I don't know. I think that just the ability to kind of create new and unique flavor profiles out of them. It's kind of one of those new frontiers where, kind of like craft cocktails are kind of blowing up right now across the country,
Yeah.
right? You can do a lot of cool things. It's craft, it's artisanal. It's made by artisans and artists and things like that. And I think that people are really kind of resonating with that sort of thing, especially in the past, decade and a half. And that rings pretty true here, especially true in Lubbock, where craft beer is very much in its infancy. We always have a joke here in Lubbock that we're always got a couple of years behind the rest of the state's trends, things like that. And and that's why it made an abundance of sense for us to go ahead and take a shot at this thing, particularly here in Lubbock, so that we can kind of help grow the scene and kind of be a big player in the beginnings of it, right?
Absolutely. Sally, what do you think?
No, I agree with that 100%. It's a good thing that we have a full bar when we open because we're so behind. A lot of people come in and they're like, "Do you got a Michelob Ultra? Do you got a Bud Light?" When they see all the tanks, right, and know that we make beer. And so it was nice for us to be able to get people transitioned into craft beer here. And now, what do you think? Maybe the first 6 months. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and then people started to realize, hey, this craft beer thing's pretty good. And so now we've got regulars that come in, we get students that come in. We try to do small releases all the time, as often as possible, so we get butts through the door, and the feedback's been really good.
Yeah,
that's awesome. Yeah, that's great. It's like supporting a local farm. It's the same sort of thing, right? I don't see how people don't get more behind it, but I do see how some people are just set on the flavor of X particular beer, and that's what they drink and they're stuck to it. That's a great way that y'all can transition them. It's really smart, honestly, playing the long game there. That's great. Okay, so let's go over a few questions here. Okay, so I asked you guys I didn't ask you what a brew pub was, but we did go over the differences. Are there any differences we're missing here that you want to point out about what specifically a brew pub is? If people, that term sounds very hipsterish too, right? Like,
I think one of the main things is the capacity of how much you are allowed to produce in any given year. So for a brew pub, we're kind of relegated to 10,000 barrels a year, which is actually, that's a big amount for us. But when you're looking at a brewery that wants to do distribution across the state or across the region, or the country even, then 10,000 barrels that goes by really fast. So we wanted to create, when we opened up, something small and intimate, and then kind of grow organically into something bigger. We didn't want to put all of our eggs in a basket and, hey, let's go build a warehouse, and then let's go spend millions of dollars on equipment and lines and design and branding and do all those things. We want to start small and grow into it versus, the other way around. And, it's helped us, slowly grow into it. And right now we feel like we're starting to hit a little stride with the good publicity that we got from the USA Today, article, and, our local, Visit Lubbock, our Economic Development Alliance has done a wonderful job. Shout out to them, by the way, for kind of helping us, get our name out and put us on the map as well. So
that's important.
So now we are, with this new HEB project and things like that. Now we're kind of seriously starting to talk about, all right, so what do we need to do to expand, during a pandemic? What do we need to do? That's, how can we grow into it, right?
Yeah, absolutely. No, for sure. 100%. If you think like from a customer standpoint, okay, let's talk about somebody that's like brew pub. What does that mean? So let's think about it, not necessarily from a technical standpoint. Okay, how many barrels can you do this and that? Just from a customer standpoint, just like elevator pitch. Somebody asking you in line at the grocery store, "Oh, you own a brew pub. What does that mean? What do you tell them?"
Well, in my mind, I'm just thinking about it. And if I say to you, hey, you want to go to the pub with me, or do you want to go to a brewery with me? And so the pub has to feel like Cheers. You walk in, and you remember the TV show Cheers, and it's like, hey, Norm, you walk. your name kind of thing. And that's really what we strive for. And it is like that in our brew pub. So that's the difference to me.
Yeah,
Nice.
yeah, you're exactly right. Yeah, I think the first brewery I ever went to was St. Arnold's in Houston.
Yeah.
And when you think about going to a brewery, I mean, that's kind of like an all-day thing, right? So you're going to go and there's going to be a million people there. Everyone's going on a tour of it. You're going through this big warehouse space. You're going to go to these big communal tables, and it's a huge production. It's a huge thing. Whereas I think Sally hit it right on the head. This is more of an intimate setting. It's more of a, hey, let's just run out to the pub really quick. Run out to the brew pub and grab a couple of beers and take a shot of whiskey and then go somewhere else.